Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we got a really interesting video for you guys. It's all about the actors strike and basically what's been happening and the fact that more and more TV shows are going to be cancelled, and it could have a big effect on the shows that we love, obviously talking about DC shows specifically, but it's going to have a huge effect on the whole television industry. So we got to break this down and talk about it in today's video. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future DC videos later this year. Okay, so I have two articles. One is from Variety, one is from The Wrap. I'm going to leave the link in the description below to both of them. I will also be having a video out the next day, so in a day from now, and that's going to be all about a Deadline article to do with Superman and Lois and the massive cuts that are happening over in the writer's room, which is going to be a big deal, so don't miss that video tomorrow. But for now, let's go ahead and get into our main topic. So the first article we're breaking down is the Variety article titled SAG Reschedules Bargaining Session, saying union needs more time for response to latest offer. Now, it's not just about this. There is one specific bit in this article that really interests me, and I just talked about that just before at the start of this video. I'm going to read through this article to give you the context of what I'm talking about, but also hone in on what I specifically said to do with the TV shows. So the planned Wednesday bargaining session, and this was Wednesday this week by the way, so it's already passed, between SAG and the studios was pushed back a day after the union told management it needed more time to respond to the latest offer put on the table. The sides had expected to meet today at SAG headquarters in Los Angeles. The sides are now expected to meet on Thursday, as SAG-AFTRA confirmed in a short statement to members sent Wednesday evening. So that is in fact today. I'm recording this on a Thursday. This is going to be released on Friday. So this has already happened essentially by the time this video comes out. And they say, our committee spent today reviewing the latest counteroffer. So this is all to do with their contracts and what the actors are going to get if there was to be an agreement. Basically, if there's an agreement, actors can start going back on sets and everything can start getting back to normal. That's basically the important thing here. So they say, we will be meeting across the table with the CEOs tomorrow. And I'm sure some of you guys have seen their updates on Twitter. They've been very active. And so they say, on Tuesday, as the sides gathered for the first time since talks broke down on October 11th, the CEOs of the four major entertainment companies offered SAG an improved bonus for the most watched streaming shows, as well as higher increases in minimum rates. So, you know, they are getting somewhere, but the studios still are not offering fully what SAG wants. But the studios are still not offering a cut of the total streaming revenue, so that is a big thing for SAG, which the Actors Union has made a centerpiece of its demands to end its 104-day long strike. Though the two sides continue to negotiate, there remains frustration on both sides that more progress has not been made at this point. The four CEOs, Bob Iger of Disney, Donna Langley of NBC Universal, Ted Sarandos of Netflix, and David Zaslav of Warner Bros. Discovery, came to SAG's Mid-City headquarters on Tuesday for the 6th time this month, and the first time since talks broke down on October 11th. As said before, they are expected to be back on the table on Wednesday, which has already passed. So that's big. You know, they've got the four main CEOs of these big companies coming together and actually negotiating with the SAG negotiating committee. We know that obviously what they're asking is very reasonable, but you know, the CEOs and the studios who they represent basically don't want to fully agree to what SAG wants, because SAG is asking for, in their vision, quite a lot, like too much. But in reality, if they don't get production started soon on these shows and these films, they're going to lose out on a hell of a lot more money. We talked about recently how Warner Brothers apparently throughout these strikes have lost way more money than they would have if they had already agreed a deal with SAG and with the writers. Obviously the writers did find an agreement recently, which was really good, but now SAG is striving to do the same. So they go on to say, according to one source, the CEO suggested that certain TV shows would have to be cancelled. And this is the big thing here, so listen up guys. If the strike goes on much longer, some on the union side interpreted that as a threat, though on the studio side it was seen as laying out the basic realities of the broadcast production schedule. So the union has agreed that actors are unable to make a sustainable living in the streaming ecosystem, and that a root and branch transformation of the compensation structure is required. The union has also maintained that the studios must increase minimum rates to keep pace with inflation, which would amount to an 11% increase in the first year. The studios have offered 5% increase, the same deal accepted by the Writers Guild of America and the Directors Guild of America. The CEOs offered on Tuesday to improve on that figure somewhat, though SAG still believes it is inadequate. So SAG is going in strong here. Obviously, as it said, they previously agreed a 5% increase with the writers, so I guess they were thinking, okay, maybe the actors would agree to that since the writers and directors agreed to that 5% increase, but SAG is asking for at least 11% to match inflation, which would make complete sense because you really do have to match inflation. But, you know, we all know in the world of business and money, no one ever keeps up with inflation because these big companies want more money and they don't want to spend more money, basically. And so let's hone in on what we are specifically here to talk about, as I said earlier, and we talked about it here. So the CEOs apparently suggested that certain TV shows would have to be cancelled if the strike goes on much longer. Now, this makes a lot of sense. Like, it's common sense to think, okay, if this strike goes on longer, if SAG doesn't agree to what, you know, the CEOs are saying and basically the proposals that they're putting on the table, and so the strike keeps going on, of course those shows are going to be heavily affected. Like, you can see it with Superman, Lois right now. The actors can't come back, but the writers can start going. And so basically, I believe what the CEOs and what they're trying to do here is say, okay, look, the reality is we're going to have to cancel some of your shows, which some of your actors are on, and this is not a threat, but this is the reality. And I kind of don't think this is a threat, but it's like slightly got that undertone, so you could take it either way. But basically, it's a big deal if this goes on much longer, is what they're saying, because having those shows on a break for such a long time is not sustainable, because when the shows come back, it's probably not going to be good. Like, they're not going to be like well watched compared to if they were to make the shows right now, get the shows out ASAP, and I'm pretty sure you would have repeat viewers, which is, I think, what they're trying to say here. So yeah, it's kind of not that unexpected, like just this statement, but at the same time it's still quite bold of the CEOs to actually say certain TV shows would have to be cancelled if the strike goes on much longer, because I guess that's just not what I'm expecting to hear, but I'm not entirely surprised. So it goes on like this. The union also believes the studios are exaggerating the value of the increase in a bid to make the union negotiators look unreasonable, which makes sense. Like the 5% thing, they're like, okay, that's, you know, what the Writers Guild and the Directors Guild agreed to. You want 11%, that's ridiculous. That's what they're kind of trying to paint the picture as. And the studios argue that their figures are a straightforward and accurate reflection of the increased value of the offer compared to the contract agreed in 2020, which obviously we haven't had a look at those contracts or anything like that, so we don't know personally, but it's just interesting from the outside how they're trying to really paint a picture in the media. Obviously SAG is very active online, all the members are very active, so you know, they already have that going for them, and the CEOs and the studios don't have that going for them. The only thing that they've got going for them is some of the big kind of Hollywood trades that are not opposed to reporting on their side of things. But for now, let's move on to our second article. This is from The Wrap. This is really interesting because this was just released earlier today, so this is an update on the previous article that we just went over. And basically, The Wrap is saying that studios are planning to give the SAG negotiation guild another week to resolve the strike or give it up until January. So basically, it's a threat. So Hollywood studios are giving one more week to negotiations with SAG before they are ready to pack it in for the rest of the year, The Wrap has learned. According to an individual with knowledge of their thinking, the studios believe that if they can't reach a deal in the next week with the Screen Actors Guild, aka SAG, which has been on strike since July 14th, then no new production will be able to start before 2024. That is huge news, because if you look at a show like Superman and Lois, which is getting its writers back, right? they can write the episodes, but if you can't start production until 2024, God knows when in 2024, even if it's at the start of the year, that pushes things back even further. So the likelihood of, you know, those CW shows that they recently said would be releasing in April, like Walker and All American, trying to hit an April release date, it's going to be very, very unlikely. And even for Superman and Lois, which is aiming for a summer 2024 release date, that's still a bad thing, because we were hoping this would be sorted within, you know, the next month or so, and then we could get started in December before the winter break. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen if this is the case and things don't go forward in the next week. So yeah, this is definitely the studios trying to put significant pressure on the talks that are going on this week. And I guess if things don't actually turn out for the best, this could be a reality and we could be seeing things delayed even further. So yeah, that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it informed you on what's happening with the strikes right now, how it's going to affect TV shows in general, but also Superman, Lois, and the CW shows that you guys are interested in. But for now, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video get out there. Also, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. So I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.